What's that one bar you've written that you're most proudest of?
I wrote this one when I was like 19 for a project. The song was called The People's Champ. In the build up to that line, I'm talking about like folks in Germany knowing my name, folks in the UK, everywhere, just talking big. And then I end off the verse with, and Hiroshima knows that I'll be the bomb in Japan.
Welcome to Mogul Radio, a platform where we sit with today's innovators, creatives, visionaries, and friends. Join us as we dive into a candid conversation on their journey pursuing their passion, what inspires them, and what challenges they face pursuing this passion. If you're an innovator, a creative, a visionary, or honestly just curious, this is your space to connect and grow. Let's get started. Today I have with me the Blue. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Pretty good. So far, so good.
Good.
How's your day been?
I'm blessed. No complaints. Busier than I would have expected, but I'm stoked to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're going to start off this first segment with icebreakers.
Okay, all right.
We're going to call this Sound Check and Stumble.
Okay, let's do it.
What's your pre-show ritual, and what's the one you wish you had time for?
Ooh, it's evolved over the years. The first pre-show ritual we had when I was like 19 or 18 was we would get mango juice before every show. I would get like a thing of mango juice. My band members and I would drink the mango juice and then get on stage and perform. Specifically mango juice. And it was like a running joke. And I don't know how other people found out about it. And they would show up to shows with mango juice for us. So it was a vibe. It was really fun.
What would happen if it was orange?
Oh, no. I don't mess with orange juice at all.
That's
apple juice is supreme. That's all I can say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yo.
We'll start a war now.
And then now I think for the rituals, it's changed a bit. I always like get the band together. We'll do a quick like run through of things, and then pray real quick, and then hop on the stage.
Yeah. What's a show you wish you had more time for to prepare? If any.
More time. In 2019, I opened for Shad, who's my favorite artist, and that show was great. It ended up being amazing, but it was so hilarious because we had been sort of in the talks to possibly do that show for like 2-3 months, and then we didn't hear anything for like I think a month or month and a half, and like didn't hear back on certain things, and so we were just like, cool, we're not doing that show, and then I think it was like a week and a half before the show, they were like, oh, sorry, like you're on that show. And I was like, bro. So I was super excited. He's my favorite artist, so I was ready to go. But I got the band together. We whipped like 1 or 2 rehearsals, and then we went on there, and it was one of like the best experiences ever. Performing and opening for someone I've looked up to and listened to since like high school and like up till now. So that was an amazing experience, but I definitely wish I had more time to prep for the show.
Nonetheless, it was successful.
It was successful. It was good.
That's good. You're on stage and the mic cuts out. What's your move?
Oh, it depends where we are, but it just happened to me. We were doing a show in Drumheller earlier this year, and it was a great show, but then like all the power cut to the speakers, the everything, and I was just like, I had my in-ears in, so I was like, oh snap, the DJ cut out, but I was like, oh, I can still hear the drummer going, so I was like, okay, maybe we're still good, but my in-ears probably just cut out, but the crowd can hear me, and then I was like, oh, I definitely can. It sounds weird, so I took it out, and like nothing was on, and so in that moment, I was like, I checked with the sound tech what's going on. It ended up being a weird story. There's like they had a memory card that was recording everything, and that got full because it had been recording all the shows happening earlier that day. And then once it got full, it just shut everything down. And so in that moment, we're like, oh, okay, cool. While he's figuring that out, let's do this song like a cappella. So it was just my vocals, our backup singers as well, and we just went into it, and it was a great vibe. Everyone really got into it, and then power came back on, and we just hopped right back into the rest of the set.
Good save though.
Yeah, oh my goodness. It was, I don't know how, like, normally I will freak out in those situations, but we just rolled with it. It was good.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
good. It worked out. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
What's the craziest pull you've made as a festival manager?
Ooh, like pull for an artist, you mean?
Pull for an artist or saving the show, let's say.
Oh, pull for an artist or saving the show? That's a good question. Thankfully, I haven't been in any situations where we have to save the show. But as a festival manager, I think there's so many different things I could say for like different pull. Working for Sled Island's amazing just because you do get to interact with a lot of artists you may have grown up listening to. For me, my favorite one is we got Odyssey to come for our 2025 festival. And I've been listening to him since I want to say I was 15 or 16. And so to come from being that 15 or 16-year-old kid to now being on the festival team who's brought Odyssey to a packed out Commonwealth to play in Calgary, Alberta is so cool. So that's probably my favorite. We had Mick Jenkins in 2024. We had Akintoye, Nigerian rapper from Toronto. Such a fan of his, and we got to. That one was great because we got to connect. We're both Nigerian, so just laughing about certain things and then chatting like after the festival as well has been dope. So yeah, I would say those are the ones.
It's good you have not had to pull a save. Because you're very good at what you do.
We try. We've had like bands have to cancel like last second or like flights get canceled and things like that. So it's like if it's a week or two out from the festival, we have time to reach out to other performers and see if they can fly in like last minute. But we've had it where it's literally like the during the festival. It's like the day before or the day of, and their flight. We had someone, I'm blanking on her name, but last year. Uh, she had multiple flights canceled and we were like trying, we kept getting her like on new flights, but the flights kept getting canceled, and then she ended up just having to cancel like day of. But the act right before her is an amazing act that so many people were excited to see, so we moved her up as the headliner, brought in one of our other like emerging acts who were playing the festival to come in and fill in as another opener, and that worked out. But thankfully we haven't had too many of those in the 3 years I've been with the festival. Yeah.
Who are some of your biggest musical influences and how have they shaped your art?
Yeah, I've got a few. The first would be the Fugees as a whole, but mainly Wyclef Jean and Lauryn Hill. When I was around, I want to say like 8 or 9, I was spending the summer with my uncle, and he played Wyclef initially, one of his albums, then played the Fugees, and my mind was blown. I was like, "What are they doing?" That was the first time I heard rap, first time I heard just hip hop in general. So I was super excited. I asked him, I was like, "Yo, I got to do that. You got to teach me." He started me off with the Fresh Prince theme song.
Yeah.
So like 8 years old, I was reciting that, and that was really great. And so from there going on, it was probably more around like 13 or 14 where I like really dove into the Fugees and Wyclef and started listening to like all their music, and so they really drove my desire to get into hip hop. And then from there, it was like forged by other artists. So Lil Wayne, I think, is one of the greatest ever to do it. So he forged a lot of my thinking of trying to get like punchlines or trying to get those cool, witty things to say. And then outside of that, I already mentioned Shad. Shad is my favorite artist, and I think he is almost second to none when it comes to writing. He's unbelievable, and so getting to listen to him growing up and see what he does, and then sort of not mimic that, but like understand that, learn that. I study like all artists in general, whether it's hip hop or any other genres I like. If I'm at a show, if I'm listening to the music, I'm studying all the things they're doing. I would say Shad has probably influenced a lot of what I've done, how I've shaped things. Yeah, that would be That'd be the standout one. But yeah, in general, Wyclef and Lauryn Hill, and then Shad, Lil Wayne, Drake, J. Cole, all these great artists. But yeah.
So these artists,
Mhm.
how have they shaped your lyrics writing process? And
Yeah.
how has that changed over time?
Yeah, honestly, it's about finding your own sound, and for me, it definitely initially leaned towards uh, the Fuji style of like more old school boom bap beats, and then eventually uh, when I got more into Lil Wayne and got into artists around that time, so Lil Wayne, Kanye,
Mm-hmm.
Lupe, artists like that, I just saw a different way of writing, a different way of flow. And I think when you're starting out like that, when you're getting into the genre, it's so easy to just mimic exactly what you're hearing, exactly what you are influenced by. So definitely people were seeing that in my writing. And then Drake was definitely a big one for a long time. And I definitely fell into like writing like him in terms of
Mm-hmm.
the spacing and things like that. But I also found that's not necessarily how I want to write. I find I wanted a balance between saying so much because so many artists will like know what they want to say and they're just gonna cram that into every line, but Drake has like his style of like leaving so much air, so much room, and then finding a good balance. And so I found that good balance for myself. I think artists like Shad, like I'm blanking on the other ones, but
Wayne,
like
Drake.
yeah, Wayne, Drake, Common, like all these artists all have their own style. So taking and understanding from them and studying what they do, and then making my own sound is how I got through. Yeah.
So out of those artists you mentioned, I listened to a lot of Wayne and
Mm-hmm.
Drake, and they have good bars.
Yes.
What's that one bar you've written that you're most proudest of?
Ooh, that one. You're putting me on the spot. Um, ooh, are we talking like punchline or are we talking like, ooh, I just like that? Or
Why don't we do both? Punchline first.
so I have one. It's pretty bad though, but I wrote this one when I was like 19 for a project. The song was called "The People's Champ," and so in the build up to that line, I'm talking about like, oh, I'm gonna have like folks in Germany knowing my name, folks in the UK, everywhere, just talking big. And then I end off the verse with, and Hiroshima knows that I'll be the bomb in Japan. And then, so that, like, I thought that was clever as a 19-year-old, but I was like, every time we perform that song now, my band and I just like, all look at each other and look at the crowd, like, "Ugh," and then, so that for the punchline maybe as like a just random maybe funny one
Yeah.
maybe sus one
Techie.
we'll see.
Yeah.
um but then i think for I think it's tough for the other line just in terms of like what I like that I've written. I think in the last few years on my projects, things could be worse, and then my newer album, So Look at the Bright Side. There's so many things that I've written that actually came from more of a personal space, and I think that's where I've thrived more. Definitely when I was younger, 18, 19, 20, writing rhymes and trying to find those clever bars. That's great and all. But I think people will feel more impacted with the music when you're coming from a more natural space. I think that happens. So between that album, the People's album, and then Things Could Be Worse, in that space of time, I think it was like 6 years between those albums, and that was just a lot of things happening between. I blew out my vocal cords, so I couldn't perform for a couple years, and then when I came back, that the like comeback was that Shad show, which was an amazing like experience to bring me back into what I was doing. And then just so many other things happened there with just like life and other things. The pandemic hit, that forced me to like start learning to produce on my own because my main producer moved out to Vancouver.
Yeah.
There were so many things going on, and so um, while I can't find one specific line for you, I think that album, If Things Could Be Worse, and then So Look at the Bright Side. I think both of those albums mean a lot to me just because they came from more real places. They came from experiencing things and then not having to write them, but them flowing more naturally. Things Could Be Worse, I think those songs flowed the most naturally, just like as I was writing, just because I had all this experience of all these things happening in 6 years of time to write from. Now I find it, I don't want to say I find it tough to write, but I'm like more calculated, more focused in terms of like, whereas 1920, I could just and just get through a
Get in the booth,
16
yeah.
easy. Now I'm thinking through every single line, and so it takes a while. But those lines are meaningful, so I can't give you one.
But
But those albums in general, yeah.
do you see hip hop as therapy or something else?
Ooh, I see it as both, not even both, but I see it as many things. So it is very therapeutic. Sorry, when you are writing, you can express yourself in different ways, different flows to different music, um, and I think that's great. I think too many people get stuck on that alone, though. Hip hop is so many things. I enjoy the conscious side of it. I enjoy the braggadocious side of it. I enjoy the just have a good time side of it. People forget like a lot of hip hop initially was just to have people dance and have a good time as well. Like more in those origins. So I love all aspects of it. I like to have fun songs where I'm goofing off with the crowd and we're having a great time. I love to have the bars where the people stop and like, oh, that brother just said that, okay, and think about it. So I think it's multiple things, but it is therapeutic along all of that in terms of uh, I am having, I don't want to say it like therapy in that, but when you're performing and you have that energy and the good times of like uh, goofing off with the crowd, having a great time, all of that is therapy as well. And then writing and expressing yourself can also be therapeutic. So yeah.
You have unlimited budget.
Mm,
What, and you're going to throw an event or festival.
yeah.
What 5 artists are you calling up, dead or alive?
Ooh. Okay. 5 artists. Okay. So I would have the Fugees for sure. I have to have them. I would have Drake. I would have Shad. I would have Lil Wayne. And ooh, the last artist would be tough because it would depend what I'm going for, and I'm going to. This one might be crazy actually. While I'm thinking about it, I'll give two possibles for the last slot.
Okay.
If I want to have more of like, and they would probably be like the intro act, and I just think people would just love the fun energy. I would have Prime, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince open up the 5 acts just because I think they'd get the party started and everyone would have a great time with that, and we would build up from there. Either them or just to add more of a little more modern twist, I'd say J Cole. Yeah,
J. Cole.
yeah, yeah.
We're going to go into the would you rathers.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Would you rather drink a glass of orange juice every day for a year or have an entire lineup cancel?
Yeah, I would drink the orange juice. You guys don't know how bad it is just with one act canceling. If a whole lineup canceled, I would cry. Like it
I
would be
can imagine.
brutal.
Jarring.
Just because it would be if a whole lineup canceled, there's no fixing that. That's just cancel the festival. Actually, it depends. Like how far out is this lineup canceling? Is this like a month
Right,
out?
no, right there, like on the day, like say an hour before.
Nah, I would drink the orange juice. If it was like a month out, we would be screaming and frantically running everywhere, but we would get a lineup.
Would you rather headline your own festival or go to a festival with all your top 5?
Where am I in life? Am I much bigger? Am I right where I am right now?
Much
How
bigger.
big
Let's
is the
say
audience?
you're a strong competitor against them.
Oh, I'll say I would rather go for the top 5.
Fair.
Because when will you ever see the Fugees, Drake, Shad, Lil Wayne, all of them like in one place? You won't.
Fair
So
enough.
yeah, I'll
Good
take
answer.
the top 5 there.
Good answer. Would you rather be called corny by critics but have a large following or be praised by critics but have a small following?
How small is the following?
150 people.
No, I'd rather critics call me corny. Just
Fair.
because, like, it's great and all to have a core group of people listening to you. But if it's only 150 people, you can't make a career or life off of that.
Let's make it bigger. Let's make it more interesting.
Okay.
The small group is like 300K people, but the big group is a mil.
Okay, but with the small group, critics would praise me, but I only have 300,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, easy.
Small group?
Yep.
What are your biggest challenges in planning a festival that people don't realize?
I think people think music festivals just have money, and so we'll get a lot of just requests like, "Why aren't you booking so and so?" I'm like, "So and so is playing stadiums. Do you see us booking like stadium size like artists and things like that?" And I know they don't know the inner workings, so I'm not like these people. And sorry, was the question like what's the challenge?
What's the challenge? Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's just people not understanding what goes into it. And so our team specifically is 4 core people for the whole year. And so that's 4 core people working to bring over 220 artists and bands to play in a whole week of music. And then so I think outside of that we get like 6 to 8 seasonal staff who start much closer to the festival. But there are 4 of us doing this thing to make it work, make it happen each year. So I think that's the most challenging.
Beyond ticket sales, what else do you use to measure success?
There are a few different things, just because, especially in Calgary, ticket sales can be so misleading. There are a lot of shows where it's like, cool, we've sold like half of what needed to be there, but then Calgary is sort of infamous for having very last minute planners. So like week of, and I think last year's festival we had this a lot where the show would sell out the day of because people are buying tickets the day of, like waiting till that last minute to do that planning. So that's a little misleading, but the other factors we use to gauge success of like shows and the festival in general is just people's experience, um, the like diversity aspect in terms of different things, different genres being represented, different people being represented, different people in the audience being represented. Are the artists having a great time? Is the audience having a great time? And generally, using surveys and using just the actual experience at the show and the festival, just tracking other things like Calgary's impact on the festival's impact on the city's economy. I think there was a study done, and I'm not gonna say a number because I don't want to fluff that number, but we were given the exact amount of money that's essentially being brought in or generated from SLED, not just at our festival, but at local businesses around all our different venues. People will stop in places to get meals. We are partnered with a lot of local businesses, so we have discounts. So many people are going to different shops to get food, to get records, to get merch, clothes, all these different things. So we have so many ways of measuring success, and I think we're doing really well right now. We're just working on how we're going to build that even further.
What does life look like off season for you?
Ooh, off season doesn't actually last too long. So the festival is always the third week of June generally, and so we'll do that. And the next 2-3 weeks is filled up with wrapping up things, writing reports, getting like stats and info together, and then that will sort of bleed through July generally, and then August is where it can be like quiet. But there are other things that I do in terms of preparing new documents, preparing spreadsheets upon spreadsheets upon spreadsheets, just preparing all these other things so that when we get started again, I can just hit the ground running. And so generally, August is probably our quietest time, but I'm still working.
You do so much just in your role as a festival manager. Where does time come for your own music?
Anytime I'm outside the office, Yeah, it's a mix. I think the great thing with Sled is that I am there, I'm working, I'm doing everything I need to do for the festival, but they're also supportive of my pursuits in music. So I do find my time to go perform while I may be working at the same time or writing at home or using the weekends, things like that to build that time. But I think it's honestly finding a good balance. Yeah, there are a lot of things I do, but I think they all like mix and blend. They're things uh, I do a lot, but they're things I'm learning every day with the festival that apply into my music. So it gives me those opportunities. But yeah,
We had Dozy on last year,
yeah.
and he shouted you out.
Oh snap.
Yeah, you're if arguably his earliest supporter.
Mm.
He said when he was getting into music, you helped him in like recording and all of that. What made you decide to I'm gonna support this?
For me, it's like if I see the passion or the just desire in someone,
Mhm.
I think that's the key thing. Like I love supporting people. I love collaborating with people. So I don't know if he told you the full story, but I met him when I think I was 15 and he was like 13 um, I can't remember what happened, but like I was just walking. We were neighbors, and
Yeah.
like I was just walking down the street, and then I saw this dude, and we're just looking at each other. I can't remember what like made us talk to each other, and we just started talking to each other. And then I'm like, "Oh, yo, I make music," and then he was like, "Oh, that's dope," and like he was telling me about like his passion in music, and then so I loved it, and I'm happy to encourage others, to push others, to support where I can. If you look, my band ranges from 6 to 12 people because I just love collaborating with people. I love being involved in what's going on. And I think that's the only way that Calgary's music scene is going to keep growing. We already have such a beautiful music scene, and we hear that a lot from different people coming into the city to perform, whether they're like really big acts or emerging acts. They all generally say the same thing of, wow, I've never felt that warmth from an audience like that or support. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And that only happens from us working together, supporting each other, pushing each other.
What role does community play in your career right now?
Community is everything. If I didn't have the community I have, I wouldn't be driven the way I am for multiple reasons. There's like the small community of like directly of like family and friends and them supporting me, them showing up to shows, things like that. But then there's the wider community. Um, More and more each time I put on a show in Calgary, especially if we're talking about here. Um, I see more and more new faces, more and more strangers, more and more people coming to um, join into what we're doing. And it's not just a thing of, oh, look at me, you people come and join me and like listen to my music. It's like, come, let's create something, let's build culture, let's do that. And so community to me is everything. That's how we develop, that's how we build culture. And I think Calgary is one of those places that's going to be the next big New York, Chicago, Houston, LA for
1000%.
music.
We're coming to the end
Yeah.
of this interview. This last segment we call the Mogul Box.
Okay.
Who's one under the radar artist you're watching right now?
There's a rapper in Calgary. His name's Boy Wonder. He's I can't remember how old he is, but we had him play Sled Island in 2024. He's a really good rapper. I like the sound of what he's doing. He's young and like he's already that like talented at what he's doing. I know in like 5 plus years he's really going to hone his craft and be a really great artist. So that's someone I'm like keeping tabs on. They're different artists in different genres, and it's tough because you mentioned under the radar. There's some where it's like they are emerging acts, but they do have attention in different genres. Micah Sage is a really amazing like pop and like folk artist here in Calgary. I think that's someone everyone should know. Oh, you put me on the spot. Hip Hip Thursday is an amazing hip hop jazz band in Calgary, and they are amazing. I've had them on multiple shows. I have them on my tour. I have them like they are so good, and I want everyone who can to hear them and to experience their music. So that's another one. There's so many talented musicians in the city that I'm always like keeping tabs on and like seeing what they're doing.
I think
Uh,
one I really just I when I came to Sled Island and
yeah.
saw that really I I really liked them was Undecided.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah, they're amazing as well. They're on my album release. They're on like they're
Oh.
yeah. They are such a good band. Like they're so tight. The instruments are so tight. The vocals are great. Their lead vocalists, Pinky and John, they're just so amazing as well. They're on my album as well, and they are so talented. Every member of that band is so talented. So again, these are artists that are doing such amazing things, and I really want Calgary's scene to go to that next level, so that a lot of these artists can also get that attention.
You spoke about your new album coming out. I think by the time this is out, it'll probably be out.
Yeah,
But still, talk to us about it. What should we expect? What can we expect?
yeah. So this album is a continuation of my previous album that came out in 2022. That album was called Things Could Be Worse. This album is called So Look at the Bright Side. And so it's supposed to be connected. Things could be worse, so look at the bright side. And initially, when I was starting to write the album, I wanted it to be, when I said so look at the bright side, I wanted it to be this really like, not poppy, but this really just vibrant album where it was like really upbeat and just like I may be saying more hopefully thought provoking things, but in like a warm way. And that's not to say the album isn't that, but it took a different twist. There are a lot of highs, a lot of like darker sounds in there as well, and not like dark, but just more on a serious note. But I love soul samples, so a lot of that. And the album in general is just exploring those thoughts of like again, things could be worse. So look at the bright side, not taking things for granted of what we have right now, and just living in the moment, enjoying what we have, and just exploring that. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Look,
And sorry, on community, on just branching out, there are 15 songs on the album. Only one song doesn't have a feature. I have so many people from the city involved in this. I have members from Undecided, members from Hip Hip Thursday. I have Romai X. I have K Riz. I have T Fanny, K The Chosen, Zenon. So many unbelievable artists from the
Tiffany,
city.
good. K the Chosen also.
Yeah.
Good artist.
So I'm like, they are unbelievable. And so I really wanted this to be an album where, yes, it's me, but I want to celebrate what's going on as well. And so that is really evident across the album. Dozie's on the album as well. I can't forget. So many. Yeah.
I think it'll be sick. We'll look forward to hearing it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Well, our time's up, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming here, you coming to chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man. That was The Blue, everyone.